Being aware and involved increases safety and connection with your children. Contents of Module 6. Follow-up discussion, Homework Week 5, Pre-Class Survey, How do we keep our children safe? Empowering your children with tools when you're not with them. How can past experiences influence your ability to teach your children to be safe? Introduction of terms. Effects of violent video games and technology on your child's brain. How can your past experiences influence your ability to teach your children to be safe? As we have discussed in previous modules, there are several factors that may influence why is it that you would have issues keeping your children safe. For example, personal perception of life, difficulty knowing who you truly are, not participating in self-care to recharge, low self-esteem, thinking errors, core beliefs, stereotypes, mental health issues, and unresolved trauma. Templates, also known as schemas. What are schemas? A schema is a mental representation that enables us to organize our knowledge into categories. Our schemas help us simplify our interactions with the world. There are mental shortcuts that can both help us and hurt us. We use our schemas to learn and think more quickly. However, some of our schemas may also be stereotypes that cause us to misinterpret or incorrectly recall information. How do schemas interfere with parenting, parent attitudes, or core beliefs? Child-rearing attitudes are cognitions that predispose an individual to act either positively or negatively towards a child. Attitudes most frequently considered involve the degree of warmth and acceptance or coldness and rejection that exists in the parent-child relationship. Researchers have also studied more situations specific to thoughts, or schemas or filters through which parents interpret and react to events, particularly ambiguous ones. These include cognitions such as beliefs about parenting abilities, expectations about what children are capable or should be expected to do, and reasons why children have behaved in a particular way. A study conducted by Bugental and colleagues on schemas. Bugental and colleagues have studied parents who believe their children have more power than they do in situations where events are not going well. Power and control dynamics. These parents are threatened and become either abusive and hostile or unassertive and submissive, thinking errors. The parents send confusing messages to their children, with the result that children stop paying attention to them, as well as showing a decrease in cognitive ability. This view of the power relationship takes a toll on parents' ability to problem solve and therefore to operate effectively in their parenting role. The main characteristics of schemas are: they are mainly formed in early childhood, youth, or adolescence. Majority of schemas run on the unconscious level. You are not even aware of them. They're beliefs and feelings you accept without question about yourself, others, and future. The maladaptive schema beliefs are expressed in absolutes like "I'm not lovable." They are constantly present and very hard to change, especially without therapy. The fight for their own survival. In other words, a negative belief about yourself formed in childhood will persist through adulthood even if you invest a lot of effort into changing it. Schemas are valid representations of early childhood experiences and later serve as templates for processing and defining reactions to different situations. A little bit deeper, how schemas are formed. A child's needs are not met. There are several groups of needs that need to be met during upbringing for a person to form healthy psychological foundations. Disturbed attachment cycle. The child is traumatized or victimized, usually by a very abusive, highly critical, and domineering parent. By internalizing the parent's voice, every parent serves as a role model with whom a child identifies. Toxic parents' behaviors or punishing voice can be internalized in maladaptive schemas. Receiving too much of a good thing. It might sound counterintuitive, but too much protection, excessive freedom, no limits, or overindulgence can also lead to maladaptive schemas. Schemas and negative core beliefs. Schemas facilitate how you interpret yourself, others, and the world. I'm unlovable. I'm such a big failure. People are cruel. Nobody cares about me. Everybody leaves me in the end. My needs are never met, etc. Schemas, thinking errors, also known as automatic thoughts. When schemas are triggered in interaction with the environment, they generate automatic thoughts, intense feelings, strong effects, and behavioral tendencies. When schemas are toxic or when they lead us in a negative direction, they are called maladaptive schemas. Maladaptive schemas causes quite a lot of problems. They negatively distort reality, lead to negative thinking, devastating feelings, and ill acting, and they are also the foundation of stereotypes, prejudice, and cognitive biases. Schemas are codes. Schemas are like lines of code that run in your brain, giving you instructions of how to interpret things, feel about different events, react, and in the end, also predict the future. They create feelings, thoughts, and lead you to certain decisions and actions. That's why schemas are extremely powerful structures. Now, I'm going to explain why mind-mindedness is important. The ability of parents to think of children as having mental states as well as being accurate in their assessment of these mental states has been linked to children's secure attachment. Parent thinking includes the ability to take the perspective of the child. Parents who recognize what is distressing for their children have children who are better able to cope with their own distress, compromise, and problem solving. Parents who can accurately identify their children's thoughts and feelings during conflicts are better able to achieve satisfactory outcomes for those conflicts, usually occurs with change. Now that we have understood what schemas are and how important they are for parenting and how they can interfere or help us be better parents and also keep our children safe, now I'm going to explain and transition into how do we keep our children safe. Be involved and present, prioritize your time, awareness, intention, empowerment, clear expectations, clear communication and connection, always telling them the truth, learning to be comfortable with your children's resistance to rules, in the end, is your responsibility to ensure their safety. So now I'm going to introduce you to some tools that you can use to be able to keep your children safe. Give your child choice. From a young age, allow your child to make decisions that directly relate to them. Allow them to choose between cereal or toast for breakfast, the red, pink, blue, or green toothbrush, the orange t-shirt, or the striped t-shirt. Allow them to choose their own outfits. Choice and voice to go together. Allowing your child choice gives them a voice. Listen to your child. Listen to your child's voice, but note their moods and listen to what is not being said. When you ask your child how they are after school, really ask them how they are. Stop your busy life and engage with your child. Find out what may be upsetting them or what may be giving them excitement. Ensure nothing is off the table. Ensure your child can tell you or ask you anything. If your child does not like someone or doesn't wish to go with a certain person, listen. Not to scare you unnecessarily, but this is one of the signs a child may indirectly provide if they're being sexually abused. Teach your child body safety, preventing sexual abuse. There is nothing more empowering than teaching your child body safety education from as young as the age of 2. Providing children with knowledge about their personal boundaries and their rights, especially in regard to their body, is incredibly empowering. A child educated in body safety knows to tell. Tell if they are touched inappropriately, as it is far less likely to be a victim of sexual predator. Predators rely on children keeping secrets, and not knowing the sexual touch is wrong. An educated child who knows to tell is their worst nightmare. We can't always be with our children, for example, when they are on a sleepover or scout camp, but we can provide a safety belt. So, to speak through teaching them body safety education. See also my children's book, Some Secrets Should Never Be Kept, which is a great tool to open up the discussion about safe and unsafe touch. Book, My Body Belongs to Me. I recommend that you read this book to your child so you can teach them about body safety. As a child, there are constantly people trying to pick you up, hug you, or tickle you. Sometimes, though, children fall victims to people who try to touch them inappropriately. Teaching your children from a young age what healthy boundaries can save their lives. It may be difficult to understand, but allow your child to take risks. I know it's scary, but sometimes we must trust our kids and allow them to take some risks. Try to stop yourself reaching out and trust your child to climb that tree, go down that big slide, and swim a lap alone in the pool. Hold yourself back, not your child, and allow them to explore their world. These experiences will teach them valuable lessons and will increase their social skills and prevent social anxiety. Remember, use your words wisely. Encourage your child's endeavors with words such as clever, smart, beautiful inside and out, creative, talented, etc. Particularly amongst young girls, I suggest you do not continually focus on their physical appearance and focus more on their talents and creative pursuits. If an argument ensures, as they always do, remember what has been said can't be unsaid. Remember, choose your battles wisely, and words can and do hurt. Demonstrate your children you care by giving them a kiss goodnight and whisper something positive from they, such as, I really loved how you tried so hard and helped mommy today. You always make me proud. Positive thoughts ringing in their ears can be empowering. Encourage your child to follow their interests. Your child's interests may not always be your interest. If your son or daughter love to dance or play football, be supportive. Encouraging growth and foster change as much as you can. Don't let your own biases or misconceptions interfere. Allow your child to greet others in a way they are comfortable with. When greeting relatives and your child doesn't want to kiss Uncle Mark or Grandma Joan, then allow your child to choose a high five, blow a kiss, or provide a handshake. Just because your child is a child does not mean they should be forced to show affection. This only gives them the message that their wishes don't matter. Your child should give hugs and kisses willingly, and all adults and other children need to respect this. I also suggest reading to your children the book No Means No. A world where no does actually mean no can be a world with far less violence and increased respect for humankind. By educating our children to have true respect for one another, this world can be a much safer and more positive place. Body safety education, also known as sexual abuse prevention education, empowers girls and boys through knowledge and teaches them they have the right to say no and to respect others' personal boundaries. Both girls and boys need to learn to ask for consent, and this can also be taught from a very young age. Discourage gender stereotyping. Ensure your child believes he or she can be and do anything they set their mind and heart to. There are no set roles for men and women. Believe in your child. There are no limits. Discourage gender stereotyping and do not become a party to the media's continual misrepresentation of gender roles. Be mindful of how your culture and past experiences influence gender and parenting. Encourage perseverance, meaning not to give up on the first try. Life is not always easy. Encourage your child to try and keep on trying until they succeed or come close to it. Do you as a parent practice perseverance? Do you give up at the first time you try? Be a role model for your child and try your best all at what you do. Teach your child a strong stance. This is a fun activity, but actually an empowering one. Have your child stand for 30 seconds every second day or so, like a pirate. Have your child place their hands on their hips, their legs slightly apart, and their shoulders back. Research tells us this stance is incredibly empowering, particularly for girls. Give it a try yourself. Now, I will be introducing the terms for this module: extracurricular involvement, monitoring, positive communication, protection techniques, secret code, regular meal times, family meetings, effects of violent video games, and television exposure. Extracurricular involvement as part of your parenting plan. Good parenting plans include extracurricular activities. Parents that engage their children in varied activities have better outcomes with emotion regulation. Extracurricular activities help children develop social skills, problem solving, resiliency, critical thinking, and healthy peer relationships. Monitoring. Establish a curfew that is appropriate. Use compromise when you determine what curfew should look like for you and your teens. Create check-in requirements with your children to call home. Collaborate with your children on what will need to happen to establish safety. Use technology to your advantage. Here are some ideas. Limit screen time. Activate privacy settings. Address health precautions and other risks. Monitor and model technology use. Make a contract with your child or teen. Positive communication. This refers to knowing who your children's friends are. Know who your children's parents' friends are, where they live, and what they do. The following measures will prevent difficult and traumatic experiences your children can be exposed to if appropriate and positive communication is not in place. Don't be afraid to be assertive and make your children and teens uncomfortable when you use your judgment as prevention. Protection techniques and secret code. Research has shown that by discussing openly avoidance of drugs and alcohol use, parents decrease children's likelihood of experimentation and overdose. It is very important for parents to bring awareness of exposure to substances to children as young as the age of 9, due to the rise of engagement in risky behavior at earlier stages in childhood. Don't be afraid to discuss appropriate and inappropriate sexualized behavior and interactions with others in public and social networking forums. Establish understanding that you know of your children's activities even when you're not with them. Secret code is imperative for safety to use this tool that only trusted adults will know the secret code, only shared by parents, so children know to ask before leaving with another grown-up that is not their parent. Make sure you give your child tools to prevent bullying. Regular meal times and family meetings. Even for parents that work second or third shift jobs, it's important to establish at least one meal time a week when all the family is together. Remember to remove all technological distractions during these times so you can connect with your children, and plan as a family events and share special achievements. Avoid discussing stressing, aggressive, or triggering events at the table. These can wait for family meetings. Family meetings are very important as they create a safe space for children to communicate frustrations without consequence. Family meetings foster and support problem-solving skills for children and teens. Effects of violent video games and technology on your child's brain. For a kid who already has an aggressive personality, that could be a problem, say experts, since video games reward those aggressive tendencies. In fact, 2 separate studies found that playing a violent video game for just 10 to 20 minutes increased aggressive thoughts compared to those who played nonviolent games. A study published in the scientific journal Nature in 1998 showed that playing video games released the feel-good neurotransmitter dopamine. The amount of dopamine released while playing video games was similar to what is seen after intravenous injections of the stimulant drugs amphetamines or methylphenidate. Watching this video will help you understand what does screen time do to a child's brain.
98% of American homes with children now have an electronic mobile device. And on average, kids 8 and under spend more than 2 hours a day looking at a screen. Is that too much? Or could there actually be developmental benefits to screen time? This is Your Brain On, where we explore how the world affects our brains and ourselves. Young brains need a lot of external stimuli to develop, particularly from birth to age 3, what's known as the critical period. It's during this time that children's neurons are making connections for fundamental skills such as vision, hearing, and language. But these needs are based on centuries of human evolution, which used to have nothing to do with screens. Consider a child watching a video instead of listening to parents read a book. It's a far different experience for the brain. Rather than kids learning to focus and imagine the story, the device presents everything to them, so certain cognitive systems become underdeveloped. And when children spend too much time in front of a screen rather than interacting with people, they can have stunted development of the frontal lobe, part of the brain that decodes social interactions. It can become more difficult to develop empathy or learn social cues like facial expressions. What's more, the stimuli from a screen can be a lot. Colors, sounds, stories, all at a super fast pace. That can be sensory overload, releasing stress hormones such as cortisol. It can also overactivate the brain's reward systems, like the addictive hormone dopamine, getting kids used to immediate gratification they wouldn't get in the real world. So most scientists and doctors agree that screen time can alter young, still-forming brains, but in some ways, that change can be positive. Take the results of one recent study that exposed young mice 6 hours daily to audiovisual stimuli similar to those found in a video game. After 10 days, the mice showed signs of hyperactivity, impaired learning, and risk-taking. But the mice also stayed calm in an environment that usually would have stressed them out. Some scientists now argue screen time can help prepare a child's brain for our increasingly fast-paced, high-stimulus world. So, screen time isn't always bad, and it isn't all created equal either. An educational letter-matching game isn't the same as a violent movie. As with many things, the key is moderation. Limiting daily screen time and making sure the child can function in all of modern life, not only with screens, but in the real world too.
Remember, prevention is the answer. Watch this video so you can understand the virtual world through the eyes of a child.
Hey, JJ, come play with us. Dude, what is going on with you? You seem to be in a really bad mood.
I'm just mad my mom won't let me play video games.
Well, you seem to get irritated pretty easily these days. Maybe it's not just video games. I think you have too much screen time.
What is screen time?
When you look at a screen, you can think of it as a window from the physical world to the digital world. So what kind of screens do you use to see the digital world?
Wow, let me think. We have a laptop and a tablet. I also look at the TV screen too. Does that count?
Any screen counts, not just a computer screen, but also TV screens, mobile phones, game consoles.
The screen is so small, so I didn't think it counts.
Some screens are even smaller. Some people even have a computer screen on their watch, but it still lets you connect to the digital world no matter how big or small.
I never thought of them all as screens. My mom is always saying it is not good to spend too much time in front of the screen. I thought that just meant video games. But if every screen is a screen, I shouldn't be doing homework on the computer.
Yes, but when we say screen time, we really mean playing on the computer. Games, chatting, watching videos for fun, for example. Computer time for schoolwork is not included.
Anyway, I'm upset because I don't get enough screen time, not because I have too much.
You're kidding, right? Video games and social media are like junk food for your brain. It's fun to eat, but if you take too much, it can be bad for you.
What? Time online never did me any harm. Look how strong I am.
Well, for starters, it can make you unhappy. You get addicted and feel angry whenever you can't play. Sound familiar?
Me? Angry? Whatever. Ugh.
It also makes it harder for you to focus on other things like schoolwork. Your attention span can become short, and that makes school harder. On top of that, you can have physical problems. It can be harder to sleep, and you have less energy because you don't move around and get enough exercise.
But I'm not even the best player, so I should just concentrate on getting good at video games. You have to be really quick to play them, and it makes me smarter.
Playing video games makes you better at video games, but it just doesn't make you smarter. You may feel really proud when you win a game, but that feeling wears off quickly, and you will want to play again to get it back. Likewise, it can feel nice when people like pictures you post, but it is soon forgotten, and the feeling doesn't last. So, if your grades are getting bad and you're tired and sleepy all the time, then you might have a problem. You need to step back from the screen and get more balance in your life.
Are you saying I need to get a life?
Yep. I'm not saying don't have fun online or don't try to get better at games. Just don't do it at the expense of your grades and health. Your life can have some junk food, just not too much. You have to control your screen time.
Thank you for participating and listening to Module 6. Being aware and involved increases safety and connection with your children. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming information.